Have you ever wondered about that little bit of magic that happens when you tap your phone to pay for something? Or when you share a photo with a friend just by touching your devices together? It feels so seamless, right? Like it just works. Well, that's not actually magic. It's some really cool tech, and today we're going to pull back the curtain on it.
Yeah, that simple tap? It's all thanks to something called near-field communication, or NFC for short. It's literally designed to make our lives easier, turning our phones into wallets, keys, and all sorts of information hubs, all with just the simplest gesture. So let's break down exactly what NFC is and how it all works.
So here's what we'll cover. First up, what even is NFC? Then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how it works, explore its most important characteristics, and finally, we'll take a quick peek at the technical specs that make it all possible.
All right, let's jump right in. What exactly is this technology of touch?
At its heart, near-field communication is a wireless technology that lets two devices, like your phone and a payment terminal, talk to each other when they're super close. It uses these short-range radio waves to swap small bits of data. You can almost think of it as a very polite, very close-range conversation.
And how does that conversation even start? Well, it all boils down to a cool principle called magnetic field induction. When one NFC-enabled device gets close to another, it creates this small electromagnetic field. That field is basically the bridge that allows data to be exchanged between the two, but, and this is key, only when they're just a few centimeters apart.
Now, this communication bridge can actually be built in two different ways. They're called active and passive modes. Let's see how they're different.
Okay, so on one side you've got active mode. This is like a conversation where both people are talking. So think of two smartphones sharing data, they both have their own batteries, their own power, and they take turns generating that magnetic field to send information back and forth. But then you have passive mode. This is more like one person reading a sign. You have one active device, like your phone, creating the field. The other device is passive. Maybe an NFC tag and a poster, or even your credit card. It has no internal power at all. It actually draws a tiny bit of energy from your phone's field just to power up and send its information back. Pretty clever, right?
So we know what it is and how it works, but what are the defining features that make NFCs so uniquely useful? What's the big deal?
Well, NFC has this really specific set of features that all work together perfectly. It's wireless, but with a range that's deliberately short. It's also compatible with existing RFID technology, which is a huge plus. It sips power, making it perfect for mobile devices, and the connection is completely automatic. You know, that last part is the real killer feature.
Let's focus on that range for a second. 10 centimeters. That's about 4 inches. In a world that's obsessed with long-range signals like Wi-Fi and 5G, you might be thinking, why would you want something so limited? Well, this isn't a bug. It's a feature. This incredibly short range is the key to NFC's security. You have to be intentionally close to make a connection, which means no accidental payments or someone grabbing your data from across the room.
And this brings us right to the heart of it all, convenience. I mean, unlike Bluetooth, there's no need to open your settings, search for a device, enter a passcode, and wait for it to pair. With NFC, you just bring the devices close and they connect. Instantly, automatically. It's that seamless experience that's made it the go-to for contactless payments and quick data swaps.
All right, for those of you who are curious, let's take a quick peek under the hood at the actual numbers that define how NFC performs.
So this table gives us a quick snapshot of the tech. The connection is always point-to-point, meaning it's just between two devices. It operates on a standard frequency of 13.56 megahertz. Now, the data rate is pretty low, up to 424 kilobits per second. This tells you it's not designed for heavy-duty stuff like streaming movies. Its whole purpose is for quick, small bursts of data, exactly what you need for a payment or sending a web link.
And you know, this quote from the source material really just sums it all up perfectly. The ultimate goal of NFC is convenience. It's about merging the stuff in your wallet, your credit cards, your transit passes, loyalty cards, directly into the mobile device that's already in your pocket. It just simplifies so many of those tiny interactions we have every single day. So let's recap the most important points. NFC is a simple, short-range wireless technology that's all about convenience. Its low-power use and automatic connection make it incredibly user-friendly. But its most important feature is its security, which comes directly from that very short range. And all of this makes it the perfect tool for quick, simple, and secure transactions.
And that leaves us with a final thought.
We use NFC to pay for things and share data, but honestly, the potential is so much bigger. As our world gets smarter and more connected, what other parts of our daily lives could be simplified with just a simple tap? It's a pretty interesting question to think about.